fighting dinosaurs, trying to escape an island where a volcano has just erupted and lava is flowing all over the place. The scene is there and players will have to adventure to try to get out of the island by saving themselves by the end of the 16th round, on the same time trying to achieve their personal secret goals in order to gain many more victory points than their opponents in case someone else survives too. And I'm saying in case because in this game you never know if you're going to be on the winner of the game, on the winner's side at the end of the game, even if you manage to survive, because someone else may have more victory points and the island itself is very difficult to navigate. So what's the game about? We are on an island where there is a dinosaur theme park. Everything goes not according to plan. The volcano starts erupting, creating problems with the electricity. The electricity goes down and then things start to escalate pretty fast. Dinosaurs are on the loose, various things happen on the island. The means of saving yourself are really not operational yet, so you have to work yourself to save, to build and repair either the boat or bring the signal on or power the bunker, etc., in order to be able to make it till the end of the 16th round, essentially the end of the 14th hour. It's 14 hours that they are emulated in this game, and win at the end of it. So this game really has it all. I'm very surprised and very excited to play Sauria, because it really emulates between us what we all expect is Jurassic Park, the game. If I wanted a game to be just like Jurassic Park, this is what I would have wanted in terms of mechanics, of theme immersion, of gameplay, of adventuring, of things to do on the island, etc. I know we didn't have a volcano, or we didn't have things, lava flowing, etc. But what we have on this, on the movies, I mean, and on the respective Jurassic Park movies. But we had a lot of dinosaurs on the loose, and this is really well captured in this game. There are a lot of things that the players can do. They can interact with various, explore the island first of all, to find out where the locations are. They can power up different locations and search for different items, gear up with weapons, with useful things, with useful gear, and try also to accomplish as many goals as they can over the course of the game. So when they make it at the end of the second day, at the end of the night of the second day, if they manage to survive and have a lot of victory points, they will win versus their opponents. The game manages to deliver a very packed thematic experience with intense gameplay. I really like the way that you spend action points to do the different things on the island. It's not just moving around and doing things. You have to really think on predict the way the island will behave, the way the dinosaurs will move. Of course, there are things that are outside of our control, but then you have to try to gear up, to have various equipment, a lot of weapons, and always make a choice for the best actions on the best timing so that you can try to survive among all and win at the end of it as well. So join me at the table. I'll show you how the game plays. Keep in mind that this is a prototype, so everything that you see here is not a final material, but it's a very advanced prototype. The game has been successfully funded already on Kickstarter, and it will be published quite soon, so there is going to be a chance for people to get the game. I was really happy to play the game. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with the final production of the game, but the game looks gorgeous and it plays really nice, delivers an extremely thematic and well-designed mechanically gaming experience, so I highly recommend it. So join me at the table. I'll put the link so that you can visit at the description of this video, and we'll come back at the end of this video, as we do always, for the final wrap-up of Sauria. Hi, welcome to this preview for Isla Sauria. Take on the role of one of the 6 characters that find themselves on an adventure dinosaur island theme park, when suddenly the island's volcano begins to erupt, shutting off the power and releasing the park's dinosaurs. With limited supplies, no help on the way, and dinosaurs around every corner, do you have what it takes to make it out alive? Work quickly to accomplish your secret goals and score the most victory points in order to win the game. But don't forget about reaching safety before it's too late, because that's what matters at the end. You can explore. You can move through the island's locations in search of weapons, supplies and tools to help you survive. Trigger special encounters that create epic thematic moments and stumble across dangerous spaces that put you in immediate peril and much more. You can fight. Load up on your weapons and take on the most dangerous creatures that have ever walked on the earth. Use your character's traits and special actions to your advantage to outthink dinosaurs and even other players. And basically, among all, survive. Time is short and your odds of survival are low. Can you and your fellow players work together to find a way, reach safety and win the game? With only a handful of ways to avoid the burning lava and hunting carnivores, can you work alone or will you be forced to work together with other players, at least temporarily? So let's see this brand new game, that it's really thematic and very interesting and well designed. And let's first of all discuss about the objective of the game. The objective of the game is very simple. During a game of Sauria, players will explore the island, gather useful items, encounter dinosaurs and attempt to complete their secret goals, avoiding burning lava and finally reaching safety, which is the most important part of all. The player who gets the most victory points by the end of the game and survives, I highlight survives, is the winner of the game. So let me take this cover out of the way and let's focus on the components that we see in front of us. First of all, we have 6 character player boards. I'm showing you 3 of those. We have the photographer, the ranger and the saboteur. And each of those has various things that we're going to explain, but also has the background and play style for each of those, which makes it very interesting and gives thematic ties as well. You see, I have already set up the game for 3 players. I'm going to set it up actually in a bit, but just want to show you that besides the 3 that you see here, which is the hunter, the scientist and the paleontologist, there are 3 more for us to choose. So 6 characters with their color-coded standees. Here this is a prototype, so you can imagine that this standee would have the matching color-coded base to go with it. We have 29 dinosaur standees. I've picked up some different species to show you, and they are placed around the edges of the board, but there are many and they can be used to populate and make the island even more dangerous according to what's going to roll out. We have a various 6-sided die that you can see here, and these are linked with, of course, the different type of dinosaurs and the different attack, ranging from green, yellow, orange and black, or rather red and black. And then we have the island itself. This is a board showing the island divided in various spaces. In the middle sits the volcano, which is going to at some point start erupting and overflowing with lava, which will make our life even more difficult. So all these tiles with lava, and there are many more that just didn't put them all there, they're going to start going around, creating difficulties both for dinosaurs and players in the game. We have each player with their own 3 character goal cards. I'm showing you here, for example, the photographer goals, the saboteur goals, the ranger goals, and they're the same for the other 3 characters. What happens is, based on the character that you will choose, you're going to have one that you're going to pursue in the game, and there are various things that you need to accomplish, secret goals that are going to give you different victory points, because if more than one player survives at the end, I'm going to come back to this in a moment, then they're going to count the victory points and the one who has the most will win the game. So you don't know what exactly the players are doing, even if you have played the ranger before, because there may be a different out of the 3, and that creates a lot of replayability in the game and also supports the different play style of each of the characters. We have 25 location tiles divided in different numbers. I'm going to put them on the board and show them to you in a bit. This is 1, 2 and 3 that they go on the numbered spaces. The island itself is divided between jungle spaces, road spaces, coastal spaces and numbered spaces, and there are also different zones. We have the starting zone, which is white, then we have on the north the green zone, on the east the red zone, south the yellow zone and west the blue zone, which also dictates various things in the game. Then we have 19 encounter cards that they give a lot of thematic spice in the game. lots of things that are going to happen, and you can also take decisions, and this will affect the game, and this is really, really nice. That adds a lot to the experience. We're going to explain them in a bit. Then we have the event decks, depending if it is a day, the white marker, or a black night, you pull from the different event decks at the beginning of the phase of each round. By the way, here are the rounds, we're going to explain them in a bit. Various tokens, lava tiles, of course, lots of different cubes. We have black cubes for noise and red cubes for noise. We're going to explain them. I have pre-constructed the bags. These are bags with noise. Again, noise is very important on this island. You don't want to make noise when you're between jungle, trees and dinosaurs. That's something that goes without saying. We have the player board. We have, of course, these green cubes, which are charges, and they're very, very useful in order to make the difference depending on the different players. They do different things. And first player token, standees of the heroes, and I would say that's about it. And a lot of different cards, of course. We have Goon deck, Lava deck, items depending on the different type of items, the Dino deck, which is pre-constructed there. We're going to show you how you do it, and various bits and pieces in the board. So let's see, since that we have familiarized ourselves with the components, let's see how the game plays. So how to play. The first part of this video is going to show you the basic rules of how to play the game. Then we're going to cover some more details, and then we're going to come back with more information, and that will conclude this how to play. So let's start with some concepts. But before we go to the concepts, let's first set up the game so it's ready for us to play. We go through some steps in order to set up the game. We have step 1, where we select the characters. Players choose characters and place their character mat in front of them. They place the green charges cubes into each of the slots. As you have seen, there are various slots next to the special, which is linked with the charges. So we put in these slots all these green cubes that they are already for the 3 characters playing in this 3-player game. And of course, we take the character standee, and we randomly choose one of the 3 goals that they are linked with this character. Meaning, if I take the photographer, I will randomly pick one of those, and this is going to be kept secretly. These are going to be my private secret goals throughout the game. In case I survive and win, then if I'm not the only one, we will count victory points to see who is the winner among those who managed to survive. If your character has objective tokens, you collect them and you place them next to your player mat, even if your goal does not require them, so you don't give yourself away based on which card you picked up. This could be different things like eggs, DNA, etc, etc, etc. Then we go to step 2. We place locations. We make sure all 24 location hexes are face down, and in a way so that they show only the number of the zone. We shuffle them, and then we place them on the location spaces face down on the board so that their zone numbers match the zone numbers on the board themselves. So basically, I'm going to place a 1 here, a 2 here, a 3 here, and so on, until I populate all these spaces on the board. There you go, we have already done this. And then we additionally place 4 encounter tokens on the encounter spaces on the board. These tokens are here, and they match the encounter deck. So I place them on the respective locations on the board, 1 on each of those spaces, respectively. Then we go to step 3. We set the noise. For every player, we place 4 black noise cubes and 1 red dinosaur noise cube in each noise bag. We see first of all that we have different color bags. Again, the green bag matches the green area on the north, the red, the east area on the east, the blue, the one on the west, the yellowy oranges, the one on the south, and the white is the starting one. So what I have done here already for all of those bags is I have created the noise. I take 3 black cubes and 1 red. For each player, here I have set up a 3-player game. That means I have 12 black noises and 3 red. I shuffle them, put them in my noise bag. For this zone, this is linked with this green zone here. And this is the noise bug linked with that. I do the same for all the different bugs, so each bug will have the same treatment. Again, having within its contents 4 black noise cubes and 1 red dinosaur noise cube for each of the bugs, for each of the players. Okay, so the same setup for all of the bugs as well. Then I move to step 4, I shuffle the decks. I shuffle all 4 item decks. The item decks are the ones on the top that you can see, the yellow, the orange, the blue and the green. I'm going to come back to those. I also shuffle the daytime and nighttime event decks. These are linked if it is day or night round. We're going to explain later on. The Hoon deck and the Lava deck. And these are ready for us to be used. Step 5, we build the dinosaur deck. So we use these cards here. And briefly to show you that we have different backs for these cards. Dinosaur deck for a game will be consisting of different cards. So first we remove the 3 double-sided Raptor pack members. These are the ones that I have on the side. These are double-sided, so I remove them from the deck. Then what we do is we will construct this one. So for every player we add a dinosaur card from each tier into 4 separate piles by tier. And there is only 3 tier 4 cards, so we only have 3 black ones. So we're going to use those even if we play a 4 or a 5 player game, so we use all of them. So the idea is this is tier 1. Let me show you the cards. This is tier 1. This is tier 2. And this is tier 3. Has 3 scratches. And this is tier 4. So for this one, what I'm doing is I'm taking for a 3-player game 3 cards from the green, 3 cards from the yellow, 3 cards from the red, and then all 3 cards from the black. I will pre-construct the deck like that. So I will create my dinosaur deck respectively. So the dinosaur deck has level 1 on the top and level 4 at the back, at the bottom. So this is my dino deck. I place it here and I take all the rest and I make it a discard pile and put it close to the board as well. So once this is done, we move to step 6, which is assign a first player. Randomly, we choose 1 player to be the first player, and if we can decide, of course, then the game encourages us to tell the best dinosaur joke, and the one who does gets the first player token, which is this one, by the way. It says player 1. The next thing that we do is for step 7, we set the turn tracker and signal token. I take your focus on the lower bottom left portion of the board. We place the turn tracker on the first position of the turn track, which is this one. I suppose this is going to have some kind of a ring, so this will encircle number 1 once the final production is done. And then we place the signal token onto the red off position of the signal space. This is a signal space linked on space round 13. It has an active and an inactive off version. So we place it starting the game with the off position on the signal space respectively. Step 8, we set aside pieces. We create separate piles near the game board with dinosaur standees, lava hexes. Again, there are many more lava hexes. You can imagine that it's going to be hell with lava once lava starts flowing out of the volcano. And we keep some red and black cubes nearby as well, so that we can use them as needed. We follow step 9, so we place characters. Starting with the first player and going clockwise, we place your character standee on one of zone 1 locations. These are the ones here that you see at the corners. Do not reveal the locations until all players have placed their characters. So let's say first player goes there, he places here, maybe second goes there, and third will go here in a 3-player game. Once everyone has selected location 1, then we reveal the location and we flip the location. So here is the hotel, You can rest for 1 action point, you can remove a bloody token for 1 action point, and it has a tunnel icon, very useful. Okay, so this character starts here. The scientist starts at the bunker. Once powered, players cannot be harmed here. Players ending the game here are safe. It needs to be powered, and also has a tunnel icon. And the last one is the shops. You can quickly search without having to use a charge on this location, because there are a lot of things at the shops. So this is how we start the game. Now let's move into some basic concepts of the game before we start explaining the phases of the game and the gameplay itself. So, basic concepts. The first concept, of course, is dinosaurs themselves. Throughout the game of Sauria, dinosaurs will appear, and this can happen in 3 different ways. You can have dinosaur noise, popping dinosaurs on the board, events, and encounters, doing exactly the same. There are 2 sizes of dinosaurs. Large, which have this large icon here, just to show you how the icon looks up close. So this is the large dinosaur icon, and there is a small dinosaur icon which has this icon over here. So this is a small dinosaur, whether this one, Tyrannosaurus, is a large one. Of course, there are also different types of dinosaurs. The types of dinosaurs are carnivores and herbivores. Carnivores, they have the respective icon for carnivores, and for herbivores they have the respective icon here. So they eat meat, they eat plants, essentially. Then we also have a special icon that we can see in some of the dinosaurs, like the pack hunter, which we're going to explain later on. And this is when they hunt, they can also team up and hunt as a pack, which is vicious. Dinosaurs are also broken on 4 tiers, which can be seen on the back of the dino deck. So again, to show you, we have tier 1, the easiest ones, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4, the most vicious ones. Tyrannosaurus being one of those. You can also see that they are color coded, so tier 3 are black, tier 4 are black, tier 3 are red, tier 2 are yellow, and tier 1 are green. So basically these are the types of the dinosaurs themselves. We have also the concept of locations. The game board depicts the island of Isla Sauria, and there are 3 types of hexes. We have jungle hexes, like this one, or that one, or this one. These are difficult to move through, and although they do not slow players down unless specified, they will require players to pull noise cubes from the respective bag. If they end up their location there, they'll have to pull noise and see what happens. We also have road hexes. Road hexes are of course hexes like this one, or that one, or this one, that they have roads on them. And these hexes are easy to move through and do not require players to pull noise cubes from the respective bags when moving through them, unless specified by an event, encounter, or something else. There are 24 location hexes on the board, and they go on the respective numbered spaces. As you have seen during setup, I put number 2s on 2s, number 3s on 3s, and number 1s on 1 respectively. Each location is unique, with different abilities, traits, and effects. We have different zones. So zone 1, the white one, let me pull the dinosaur cards out so that you can see them. Of course, this is more visually clear when we don't have placed the tokens, but you see the zone 1, the white ones, are the ones that they are the starting zone, the interior of the island. All players start on a zone 1 location, like we have seen during setup. Then we have zone 2, the middle ring of the island. These hexes are non-essential for survival, but can hold useful abilities and gear, and they should be targeted by the players in order to gear up. And these are the ones that they have number 2s, and they make the interior ring. And then we have zone 3, which is the exterior ring around the island, the coast of the island. These hexes hold the most dangerous locations, the most useful locations, and locations that can provide escape, like the helipad, etc. Which is actually what players need to do in order to win the game at the end. Then we have the next concept, which is characters. Before you begin the game of Sauria, each player must choose a character to play as. Each character is unique in several ways, but in general they all work the same. They have their own special board with locations for wounds at the bottom, item slots on the top, the traits specifically for this type of character, basic actions, special actions that they use, the green cubes, the charges, and of course they come with their own specific goals. So Ranger comes with these 3 goals, and you're going to randomly pick one, as we said during setup, and focus on that. Just to briefly show you, each character has 3 different goal cards specific to that character, and these are motivating actually the player to play according to the character's playstyle in order to win. So for example, if you have the character of Hunter, like this one here, the red one, then you'll need to involve different actions, hunting dinosaurs, etc. And this is from the Ranger. So for example, they can win 4 victory points if they trigger 4 encounters. They can win 3 victory points if they trunk or stun 2 large dinosaurs. They can win 2 victory points if they are the last player to reach the safety, because they're the Rangers and they want to have everyone reaching safety, of course. And victory point 1 if they end the game in the bunker, so that they stay back on the island to bunker down. So these are specific, and this was just one card, as I mentioned, to the characters, and they give a different play style. Again, the player mat has different things. Each character has a character mat unique to them. On this mat you find the traits, the basic actions and the special actions that they use charges. Also, it's very nice that it has the background and the play style at the back. Very useful when picking up for the first time a character. I really enjoyed this aspect of the characters, and they really feel unique and asymmetric. We have the traits that they go next to the portrait. These are unique. Each and every character has a unique trait that gives them an edge on something. Some characters have more than one trait, but may have slightly more difficult goals to achieve or less charges for special actions, etc. For example, this Ranger has Park Knowledge, which means at the start of the game they say secretly look at one area's location hexes, so they know where to start. And of course, if they prefer, for example, the bunker or the shops or whatever. And then they have the locker keys. They're the Ranger after all. Their search only costs 1 charge action, point on Ranger locations respectively. And their handlers, they start with the trunk pistol. That means that they will start the game with this icon here, this item here already equipped, which is specifically to the Ranger and says Ranger only. So they start with the trunk pistol in one of their slots, like that. So there you have it. Now, what about the charges? This special section, the green one, on the far right of the player mats, of the characters. Let me show you up close, like this one, and the spaces, that the slots for the green cubes. So characters also have unique amount of charges. They come with this icon, the green icon. For special actions, charges are removed from the character mat each time a character performs one of their special actions, and once a character is out of charges for a specific special action, they cannot perform that action until they refresh that action charges, which usually is done by resting or with events and special encounters. So they're like boosts that you can use freely, and as long as you have charges to use them, and of course if you want to get them back, you need to rest. We also have the action points. In a standard game, characters have 3 action points to perform actions. They can spend them either on basic or on special. For example, this one shows that it requires the attack 1 action point out of the 3. This hide special action requires 3 action points, so you can only hide during your turn, and you need to have 1 charge to spend it, otherwise you cannot do it. If you want to rest, you spend, it's a basic action, you don't need a charge, but you spend all 3 of your action points. So these are the action points in the numbers, and these are the slots for the green cubes, which are the charges respectively. It is important that all items that cost 1 action point, either special or basic, they are essentially the easiest actions to perform. That's why they only cost 1 action point, whether when you rest, you need to spend all 3 of your action points in order to perform the rest action. Last but not least, all items cost 1 action point to use unless the item states otherwise. And this does not apply to weapons, which are only used when performing the attack action or the unload action. So when you use a weapon, you use the action point from the attack action. But when you use other type of equipment, you need to spend 1 action point unless the card/item states otherwise. Now let's see how we play the game. Sauria takes place over 16 rounds, as you can see on the bottom left of the board. Each turn is made up of 5 phases and they must be done in order. First phase is the event phase. During this phase, an event card is drawn and that will affect the current turn. Depending on if it is day or night, it may either be a daytime or a nighttime event card, depending on the color of the round on the respective number. Then we have the lava phase. This phase begins on turn 9, that's why turn 9 is red. During this phase, a lava card is drawn from the lava deck, and lava hexes will cover multiple locations in this area and do damage to players and dinosaurs if they are caught under the lava hex. It will be explained later on. Third, we have the action phase, the main phase of the game. During this phase, the players will take turns performing actions, revealing locations, fighting or escaping dinosaurs and trying to complete their goals essentially in order to be able to then escape and win. Fourth phase is the dinosaur phase. During this phase, all carnivores perform an action, either moving, attacking or feeding. And herbivores will defend themselves, but they will not move unless there's a specific event that makes them move, like panicking, etc. Fifth phase is the cleanup phase. During this phase, all dead dinosaurs and players' standees are removed from the game board, the active event card is discarded, and the turn tracker is moved to the next number on the turn track, respectively, reaching towards the end of the game. So, a couple words for each of those phases. The event phase. During this phase, the player with the first player token draws an event card and places it on the event space on the board, on the bottom right of the board. There are 2 types of event cards, daytime and nighttime. If the turn tracker is on a white or orange number, then it is a daytime situation and we draw a daytime event. That means 1 to 5 are daytime events and we draw from this deck. Even the orange one is considered white for this purpose, so we draw from the daytime event. If the turn tracker is on a black number, like for example from 6 to 8 or from 14 to 16, then it is nighttime. And then we draw an event card from the respective nighttime event deck. We resolve the event on the card. Some cards have lasting effects for the entire turn, while others are instant. Some may not apply to the current situation, and if this is the case, nothing happens. Usually, the daytime event is a mix of positive, neutral and negative events, whether the nighttime event almost completely has negative events. Just to give you an idea, a daytime event: faulty holding pens. Place a dinosaur from the dinosaur deck on any revealed deck hexes with the blue. Or if it was, let's say, round 7, a nighttime event, blood in the air. Any player that has a bloody cube must pull 2 noise cubes from the bag. And the bloody cube actually is a trait that you get, and then you basically are the target because you have the scent of the blood and the dinosaurs are attracted to you. So this is very simple. This is the event phase. The lava phase. This phase begins on turn 9. Turn 9 and 10, you do not require a lava card to be drawn. Lava hexes are placed on predetermined locations in the starting area, the white ones. And starting on turn 11, the players with the first player token draws a lava card from the lava deck. These cards are those, and they indicate the color of the board, the area, the region towards which lava will flow. So the lava card will have a color on it representing one of the 4 non-starting areas, south, west, east and north. We resolve the card by placing lava hexes on the correct locations of the drawn area. This is going to be explained more in detail later on. So the action phase. Starting with a player with the first player token and moving clockwise, players take their turns. A player can spend up to 3 action points during their turn, and once they have passed or have used all of the 3 action points, their turn is over. An action allows a player to move their character, fight or escape dinosaurs, complete goals and interact with the board. During this phase, players will perform many different actions and need to understand several concepts such as combat, basic actions, special actions, location abilities, using various items and encountering actions as well. So again, going back to the player board of the character, we have various actions. The basic actions listed on this column here, they include moving, they include attacking, quiet move, search, rest and repair. And these are basic actions, these are listed on the character mat. All characters can perform the same actions and usually for the same action point cost, meaning 3 action points to do the rest, and that concludes your turn. We also have the special actions listed on this column here. These are listed on the character mat as well, and all characters can perform the same actions, usually for the same action point cost. There is, however, a limit to how often a character can perform these actions, represented by charges. For example, you can see that in this case, the sprint can be done twice for this character, and the sneak can be done 3 times. Whether for the ranger, the sneak can only be done 1 time, and the sprint can be done twice, because you're going to have green cubes, green charges in this section as well. Then you have the location abilities. These are on certain locations that you're going to explore during the course of the game. Players can only perform this type of action if they are on the location that allows them to perform the specific action. Some locations require power to use this ability. You also have actions by using items. Some items require an action point to be used, while others do not, and some items are discarded after use, while others remain in the possession of the characters indefinitely, and they can be used repeatedly. You also have encounter actions. Some encounters give you the option to perform an action. Unless otherwise stated, this typically does not cost an action point. So this is pretty straightforward, and the basic actions all provide the opportunity for the players to do the basic concepts, the special actions to do some special movements, special abilities, etc. that you need to spend charges to do it, and then you have the various location and encounter actions as well. So we're going to come back later in more detail. Let's move now to the next phase. Next phase, so it's the dinosaur phase. Dinosaurs have seemingly simple actions, but many variables can affect their turns. For this reason, their actions are simplified, but keep in mind that we can come back in more detail later on. So basically, starting with the carnivore with the most health and working down, carnivores perform 1 action: either move, attack or feed. Once all carnivores have performed the action, and all of the carnivores, which again are identified by this icon on the bottom left, have performed their actions, then herbivores will take their action and will perform their actions. Typically, this type of dinosaurs will pass doing nothing on their turn. However, certain things can provoke a herbivore to attack or move, respectively. Once the dinosaur phase is finished, because all of the dinosaurs have been activated accordingly, then we move to the next phase, which is the cleanup phase, the final phase. During this step, players clean away certain components and prepare for the next turn. Dinosaurs are most likely going to be killed, either hunted or die from the actions of the players. So there will be frequently during this phase various dead dinosaurs laying around. If a carnivore is on a hex with a dead dinosaur or character, we leave the standee. The carnivore will perform the feed action on the next dinosaur phase. So it locks the dinosaur because it's distracted, they're going to stay there and feed. If a dinosaur is dead and there are no carnivores on the hex, we remove the standee. If a player is dead and there are no carnivores on the hex, leave the standee on its side. Other characters can loot the body for any items that are on that character's mat. We remove then the event card from the event space, which is this one on the bottom right, the active one, and we move the turn one forward to the next number, closer the 16th, which is the last turn of the game. Then we pass the first player token clockwise to the next player. So how we win the game? Let's simplistically put it, the player that earns the most victory points, and again I'm going to show you how the victory point icon looks like. This is the iconography of the victory point, and thus you can see it also in the various secret objectives for each player's character on the specific chosen card. The player who has the most victory points and survives Isla Sauria is the winner. Players gain victory points by completing the goals on their goal card and by satisfying requirements on certain encounter cards that they may give them the opportunity, like this one, to win victory points. However, and this is the most important thing, surviving Isla Sauria is another task altogether. A player could have 10 victory points and not survive and would lose the game from a player who has 0 victory points but did manage to survive at the end, and he is the sole survivor. So this is how you win the game. A word about goals. As I mentioned frequently over the course of this video, every character has 3 goal cards. Each of them have different goals, but generally they are very similar. Once a player has randomly selected one of those gold cards, they will see that it has 4 goals included. Each goal has a victory point value above it, and the top goal is worth 4 victory points, followed by 3, 2, and 1 respectively. The 4th point goal, the first one, typically is the most challenging, and the goals tend to get easier the less points they are worth, as you would expect. When a goal is completed, you do not need to let other players know that you have done this. To keep track of what you have done, though, by using objective tokens. Some objective tokens they may include, for example, eggs, DNA tokens, etc. That they need to be carried with you, or other objective tokens act as a marker that you took a photo, that you managed to tranquilize something or whatever. You can use those specific objective tokens to indicate that you have achieved this goal over the course of the game. Surviving the island. There are various ways to die on the island, but only a handful of ways to survive and escape. Isla Sauria is a hostile place, and players will likely have to work together in order to survive, but by the end of the day, only one player wins the game. There are 3 ways of surviving Sauria: escaping on the helicopter, escaping on the boat, or hunkering down in the bunker. Each method requires something to be done in advance and may or may not be an option in a given situation if something has occurred during the course of the game. So, helicopter escape. Escaping Isla Sauria on the helicopter requires 2 things. The distress signal must be turned on by turn 13th, so you must have sent the distress signal until the 13th turn. And there are 2 ways to do this. You turn the power at the radio tower and then send the distress signal from there, or find and use a satellite phone found in the tech items deck. And 2, any character trying to escape on the helicopter must be on the helipad location at the end of turn 16, which is this one. This is a helipad location, as you can see. If the distress signal was sent on or before turn 13, the helicopter will evacuate all players standing on this hex at the end of turn 16, if they survive until the end of turn 16th, and they need to be on there. So that's the helicopter escape. Then you can have boat escape. Escaping Isla Sauria on boat requires again 2 things. The boat must be repaired from the docks location using boat parts found in the maintenance item deck, and any characters trying to escape on the boat must be at the boat location by the end of turn 16. So you can see, when revealed, place the boat hex in the water adjacent to this hex, you can repair the boat from this hex with both parts. So you need to find both parts in order to be able to repair the boat and use it for escaping. How cool is that? And the last option is ending in the bunker. Ending the game in the bunker requires two things. The bunker is this one. It's sitting in the center of the island. The bunker needs to be revealed and powered before turn 10. You need to do it before the 10th turn of the game, when it will be covered by lava, if you haven't done so, according to the flow of lava. So you need to have it uncovered and powered, otherwise lava will cover it. If you have powered it on before the 10th turn of the game, then even though lava will come on top of it, then you'll put this on top of the lava, because that means it protects itself from the lava and it is a viable option for you to escape. Any character trying to survive in the bunker must be in the bunker at the end of turn 16th. And this is the third option. Now, the areas of the game. The island is divided into 5 sections of areas, and they are easily seen by the different colors of the hexes. We have the blue, the green, the yellow, the red and the white. The white area, also called starter area, is at the center of the island, and it's where the characters start the game. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 sections here. Then, and they all depict number 1, white below. Then we have the other 4 areas dividing the rest of the island into quarters, and you see the red area over here, the green area on the top, the blue area and the yellow area there. This is how the island is divided. And an important part of the game is the noise. Noise is a primary way that dinosaurs are placed on the board. Noise is generated by players in the area they're in. Noise is represented by black and red cubes. I remind you, we have pre-filled the buggies with black and red cubes according to the number of players. And there are 5 primary ways that a player can make a noise. Actions. Certain actions that have the noise cube symbol next to them require a player to pull noise. For example, if you unload, if you sprint. Okay, this gives you the action, but you need to pull noise from the bug of the location that you're in. Locations. Jungle hexes and location hexes that have, again, the black cube with the exclamation, like the one I showed you before, will always require a player to draw 1 noise cube when moving into them, unless stated otherwise. So, for example, here's a location with a noise cube. If you move there, it's a ranger wreck, you have to pull a noise. But also the jungle spaces create the need to pull noise from the bug. Events. Certain events from the event decks will cause the players that meet certain criteria to pull noise. 4th, encounters. Encounters are seen over there, and there are 4 starting locations for encounters with the tokens that we put during setup. Will provide options that, if chosen, will require the player to pull noise from the bug, a respective color bug, where the encounter is located in. Finally, nighttime. During nighttime turns, if a player does not have an item or vehicle that is a light source, they must pull an additional noise when moving or making noise, even on hexes that normally would not require noise to be pulled, for example the roads, because these hexes do not need us to pull noise. Important thing to know is that noise can add up as well. For example, if a player sprints 1 noise into a jungle hex, 2nd noise, on a nighttime turn, 3rd noise, the player must pull 3 noises from the bug. And when a character makes noise, he must draw noise cubes out of the noise bug that he ended his action in. So if you start in the yellow area and you end up in the blue, and you need to pull 3 actions, 3 noises, even if you created one in the yellow area, you're going to pull 3 cubes from the blue bug, because this is where you ended your movement into. And this is very important to also know in order to be prepared depending on the area. A word about dinosaurs. Surviving the dinosaur inhabitants of Isla Sauria is no easy task. The best advantage you have as a player is knowing what dinosaurs will do and try to predict their turns. Actions. Carnivores are the main threat of Isla Sauria. The ones that have this icon are the carnivores. These are the dinosaurs that will actively hunt players, other dinosaurs that they are herbivores, and sometimes even each other. Carnivores have what is called prey order. This is the order of the prey they prefer from greatest to least. Think it as a snack menu. You always have a favorite. A carnivore will always move towards its favorite prey when two or more prey items are on the same distance from the carnivore. And there are two types of carnivores. Large carnivores, which have this symbol, and small carnivores, which have this symbol. So large carnivores. These are titans of the island, lethal, powerful, and hard to kill. Their prey order, starting from what they love most, is the bloody character, then just a character, then a large herbivore, then a small herbivore, then a large carnivore, and then packmates, not prey. Respectively, small carnivores have this preference. Their prey order starts with a bloody character, then any character, then small herbivore, and then packmates, not prey. So this is how they prefer their attack target. Carnivore actions. Carnivores perform one of three actions on their turn. Players can determine what type of action with some simple if-then rules. If a carnivore is on a hex with no prey or dead prey, then they will move on a hex towards the closest prey according to their preference. If a carnivore is on a hex with prey, then it will attack its most favored prey. If a character is being attacked, then the carnivore will attack once, and if a dinosaur is being attacked, then the carnivore will fight to the death with the other dinosaur. If a carnivore is on a hex with dead prey, then it will feed. When a carnivore feeds, it is distracted. Distracted means that it focuses on the food that they have on their plate, and the dead prey is removed then from the game board. If a player attempts to move off a hex with a carnivore, unless they're using the evade action, then the carnivore will get a free attack against them. Then we have the herbivores. Herbivores are much more passive than carnivores, and they can even be useful defense or distraction for players in the right situation. They can, however, become aggressive if they are spooked, panicked, or attacked. Spooking in a herbivore. If a character moves onto the same hex as a herbivore and then moves off that hex on the same turn, then the herbivore will attack because it's spooked. Self-defense. If a character attacks a herbivore, then the herbivore is now hostile towards that player, and every dinosaur phase, the herbivore will spend its action attacking the player. Of course, you provoked the poor animal. Behaviors. Dinosaurs are living creatures that exhibit multiple behaviors. They can be distracted. This is a white exclamation. If a dinosaur is distracted, then it does not attack or move on its turn unless it is attacked or it is adjacent to lava. Panicked, the red exclamation. If a dinosaur is adjacent to lava, it will always use its action to move to a hex that is not adjacent to lava. If it cannot move to a hex that is not adjacent to a lava, then not adjacent to a lava, to escape the lava that is, then it is panicked. Panicked dinosaurs will always attack players who are on the same hex as them on their dinosaur turn because they're panicking, and they will always attack players that attempt to move off their hex, just how a carnivore does normally. So a herbivore will attack you even if you move out of their hex on a different turn if they are panicked. Stunned. This is the thunder symbol with the orange color. If a dinosaur is stunned, then it cannot perform any actions on its turn. The dinosaur standee should be set on its side. The trunked. This is a ZZZ with a purple background. If a dinosaur is trunked, then it cannot perform any actions on the turn and the next turn, so 2 turns. And the dinosaur standee should be set on its side. And then we have the pack behavior that we have seen before. For example, that shows a pack member. If carnivores of the same species with the pack hunter icon are close to each other than to prey, then they will move towards each other. Once on the same hex, they will move and attack as one unit, as a pack essentially. Location types. We have different location types, 5 different location types: danger locations, red; survival locations, green; tech locations, blue; ranger locations, orange; and maintenance locations, yellow. For example, this red one over here, it has this symbol, and this is a symbol of the danger location. These hexes cannot be searched for items and give no bonuses or abilities. They are always negative and often have dangerous effects. Then we can have survival locations, but they have this symbol. These hexes can be searched for items. Survival items help with staying alive, healing wounds, and giving you an edge on the island. Survival locations allow players to rest for only 2 action points. Then we can have maintenance locations, which have this yellow symbol, the wrench. These hexes can be searched for items. Maintenance locations have items used for making repairs, headlamps for light, and flares, and it's also the location where you find boat parts in order to escape via boat. Maintenance locations allow players to reload maintenance item ammo for one action point only. Then we have ranger locations, that they have this orange bullseye icon. These hexes can be searched for items. Ranger items are exclusively weapons, from a machete to a pistol to an assault rifle, and ranger locations allow players to reload ranger item ammo for 2 action points. And last but not least, we have the blue ones with the blue flask. So these are the tech locations. These hexes can be searched for items. Tech items are always useful and often powerful. They can range from a railgun to bringing down a dinosaur in the park to a vial of T-Rex urine, and this also where the satellite phone is found if you're trying to escape, to send the signal and escape with the helicopter. Tech locations allow players to reload tech items ammo for 3 action points respectively. So another thing to notice on the locations is you can have several symbols like this one. This is a tunnel symbol. Part of a tunnel network can move to any other hex with a tunnel network icon for 3 action points, and after the tunnel access location is revealed. Then you can have symbols with this, which we have seen before. This is the exclamation. This means that you must pull an additional noise when moving on this hex. Then we can have this icon here, the power surge. This is a powerable hex, and you need to power this in order to have the desired effect. So you need to place a power icon, a token on this location, and it's going to be explained later. And the last icon is this one, that one, or this one. You see it's the same. This is the trigger for an encounter. The first time a player moves onto this hex, we have an encounter trigger in the same way that we're going to explain for these icons as well. So, encounters. Encounters are unique events that are triggered when a player moves onto a hex with an encounter icon. Encounters happen immediately when a player triggers them, even if they are out of action points. And if a location with an encounter icon is revealed, but the player did so without moving onto the hex, you place an encounter token, that's why we have additional ones, on the location. After resolving an encounter on a hex with an encounter token, you remove the token from the board, and a location would only even trigger 1 encounter per game. So let's see one example. Clever Raptor. You see, this is an encounter location. You hear a strange sound coming from the brush, almost like clicking. As you move to investigate, the clicking gets faster. It's coming from a bush directly ahead of you. What is the noise? As you kneel down and begin parting the brush, you smell a putrid odor like rotting meat. You freeze as you find the source of the clicking. A 6-inch sickle-shaped claw is tapping on a rock. You look up to see a raptor staring down at you, looking quite happy himself. Clever raptor, you whisper. Place a raptor on this hex. If all raptors are on the board, move the closest raptor to this hex. Try to catch it off guard, lose it in the jungle, climb a tree. So you get these options. And of course, the respective outcomes as well. As I mentioned, some locations like this one, they require a power in order to be powered. Locations with this symbol are called parable hexes. At the start of the game, all power is off. So when a parable hex are revealed, you place one token from the inactive off power side, which is this one. And once you manage to power it, then you flip it on to show that the power is on this position. There are 4 ways that the power can be turned on some locations. Repairing the power station, which then the power station is revealed. If it's not sabotaged, then once repaired, all powerable hexes will be powered. So you bring power and electricity to the island. Backup generator. The backup generator can be used to turn on all powerable hexes in one area only. Gasoline, an item found in the maintenance items deck. Gasoline can be discarded for powering one specific powerable hex that you choose. And the event power surge will temporarily give you power to all powerable hexes for this turn only, and then it will go out. So this is how power works. Before moving to combat, I'd just like to show you a bit on the things that you can find on the various decks. For example, on this one, you can find things from bandages, to backpacks, to machete, to energy bars, to medical kit, lots of different and useful things. The tech cards provide you things like a railgun, a satellite phone, a T-Rex urine, night vision goggles, railgun, etc. These ranger locations provide you ammo, pistol, flare gun, hunting rifle, shotgun, etc, etc. So if you need guns, you need to go there, and you need guns, trust me. And then the maintenance deck provides you with useful things like wrench, flare, boat parts if you want to repair the boat, stun gun, and various things that gasoline, headlamp, etc. that you're going to need in order to navigate easier the island. So combat. Players attacking dinosaurs and dinosaurs attacking players and other dinosaurs is a common occurrence on the game of Sauria. Combat is resolved by rolling dice. And here are the dice that we have in the game for the various type of combat situations. There are 4 different kinds of attack dice, and there are 3 types of outcomes: miss, hit, and cannot retreat. When a miss is rolled, that die does not do any damage, but it's still counted as an attack. When a hit, which is a line with a slash, is rolled, then for each such line you count and apply 1 damage. And when a cannot retreat icon is rolled, for example this one has a no retreat icon, then it counts as 1 hit unless a dinosaur rolls it against a player who is attempting to leave the hex. Then it does no damage but prevents the player from leaving the hex. The player still takes damage from any other dice rolled that did not do damage. So these are the different dice. Green are low, the first one, green, are low chance of hitting and low damage. Yellow, these 2, these are medium chance of hitting and low damage and a chance of cannot retreat as well. This is a red, high chance of hitting, low to medium damage. And these are the black, very high chance of hitting, low to very high damage. In case of the different dinosaurs, you see that they have a profile with the different types of dice they roll. So there are 2 types of attacks. You can have either ranged or melee attacks. Dinosaurs always perform melee attacks. And just to clarify the symbol, this is a symbol of the melee attack. For example, if a player uses this for attacking, they perform a melee attack. And these are the dice that they roll depending on the small or big icon of the dinosaurs they're attacking against. Or they can be ranged attacks, which have this symbol. and they usually require a player to be on the same hex as the dinosaur they are attacking, but some weapons allow the player to be on adjacent hex as well. The difference between melee and ranged is that when you attack with either melee combat or with your bare hands or melee icons, melee weapons, that means that when a player performs a melee attack, if it does not kill the dinosaur outright, the dinosaur gets to retaliate, attacking back. While if you perform a ranged attack, the dinosaur does not get an opportunity to retaliate and attack back, even on the same hex. By default, players can perform a melee attack with their fists, and they roll a green die for that if they don't have any other weapons. Items. Player can draw items from locations by performing search, quick search, scour, or from various encounters. There are 4 item decks that match the 4 location types, and when you perform one of the search actions, draw items from that item deck that matches the location type you're on. You place these items in your item slots on your character card, and if an item is orientated horizontally, you place it over 2 item slots. So in this case, I used one slot for a pistol, another slot for an item, and had to use 2 slots for a trunk rifle. But if, for example, I had another 2-slot gun, I couldn't use it because this would require 2 items. I need more space for that. And since we are on the subject, a word about weapons. Weapons are items that can improve a player's ability to attack. All weapon items have a set of attack dice that replace the player's default attack die. Melee weapons can be used as often as the player attacks, but ranged weapons, like this one or that one, they often have specific ammo that they can use. When a ranged weapon is drawn from the action deck, you place red cubes on there to indicate the amount of ammo it comes with, and you discard an ammo when you attack using it. So for this gun, I would place 5 ammo bullets, and each time I use it, I need to spend one. If I don't have ammo, I cannot use it. All weapons have, of course, a large and a small dinosaur attack value. For example, in the case of this wrench, if it's used for a melee attack against a small dinosaur, you roll 1 yellow die. But if it cannot be used for a melee attack against a large dinosaur, and I'm already laughing thinking about it, imagine trying to make damage on a Tyrannosaurus with a wrench. How funny would be that? Actually, I would have liked someone to try that and see it from a safe distance. So this is how you use weapons. Another concept in the game is health and wounds. All dinosaurs have a health value, and for each damage they receive, you place a red cube on their card. So for example, this one has 6 health points. Every time you damage it, you place 1 red cube on there for each damage you perform, and once they have received their health value worth of damage, then they're dead, out of the game. Players have 5 wound slots, respectively, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and at the bottom of their mat, and when a player receives damage, they place a wound card on a slot for each damage they receive, face down. Once all, so you see, let's say I took 2 wounds, I place them here. If I got another 2, I would place them there. If I got a 5th one, I would place it there. Yeah, so I need to try to heal as much as possible when the wounds are face down. When I have to place a 6th wound, because all of the slots are filled, then I go and I flip the first card. So now this becomes a concussion. The 7th one becomes a broken arm, and so on. So you can see that there are difficulties with wounds if you don't tend to them, and then you take additional damage because you're flipping cards for each additional damage you receive. And once all wound cards are placed and flipped, so if those 3 are also flipped, then the character dies. Face-up wounds have powerful negative effects that can make survival very difficult for players. It's always best to heal wounds and avoid receiving a 6 damage, which flips your first wound card. Now, lava. Beginning on turn 9, lava hexes will begin to cover portions of Isla Sauria. Lava is a deadly threat that can even cause the most dangerous dinosaurs on the island to run for their life. Lava hexes are placed in a systematic way, but still cause havoc in the game itself. Dinosaurs will always use their action to move away from the adjacent lava hex, and they will never move to a hex that is adjacent to a lava hex or onto a lava hex. If they're adjacent to a lava hex but also cannot move to a hex that is not adjacent to a lava hex, then they are panicked, the red exclamation, and we've seen what happens when dinosaurs are panicked. Lava hexes destroy the locations that they are cover, and any effects or abilities the location offer are gone. The exception to that is the bunker, only if it is powered on before it's covered by lava. Lava hexes also cause severe damage. Moving onto a lava hex or being on a lava that is covered by a lava hex causes players and dinosaurs 5 damage. This makes life very difficult, and you can use lava as a dinosaur deterrent, an extremely risky approach, but sometimes it works, you never know. So first eruptions. In the first 8 turns of Sauria, the lava phase is completely skipped. On turn 9 and 10, however, lava begins to pour out of the board, completely covering the started area. On turn 9 specifically, you place lava hexes on all road and jungle hexes in the starter area, only sparing the 4 location hexes. So turn 9, what will happen is lava pours out. We already know the pattern for the first eruption. So all these locations for the starting area will be covered by lava. Okay, so this is what will happen. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this poor fella, he would die because he has 3 health points and lava would cover him. If he had more than 5 damage points, he would take that much damage instead. Okay, so let's move that out of the side. So this is what will happen on turn 9. Then on turn 10, you will place lava hexes on the remaining 4 locations. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That means I will completely cover and destroy this location, that location, the corners, and that location. Okay, so that's what will happen. And last but not least, if the bunker is not powered on, so if it is like that by this turn, then lava will destroy it. So it will die, and it will die as a means of escape. But if it is powered on by this turn, then lava will be placed beneath it, and it will be still be a viable option. Keep in mind that it has tunnel network as well, so you can reach it from another tunnel for escape purposes. Then moving forward from 11th turn onwards, what happens is we have eruptions, additional eruptions that is, and during that lava phase on the 11th turn onwards, you draw on the lava phase a lava card from the lava deck. This is the lava deck, as I have mentioned before. So what happens is you will draw cards from there. These cards have one area's color, so it says blue, yellow, green or red, linked with the various areas of the board. So let's focus, for example, on the yellow area. So let's say we draw the first card and it's a yellow on the 11th turn. So the first time an area color is drawn, you cover every hex in that area that is adjacent to the starting area. So that means that, for example, for this case, so just to give you an idea, I'm moving this thing, this minis standees to the side. So first time an area's color is drawn, the yellow area here, then you cover every hex in that area that is adjacent to the started area. So for example, this one. That one. And that one. You see how dreadful the situation quickly becomes. The next time you pull the same color area, then you cover every hex in that area that is not adjacent to the coast. So that means this token from the yellow again, yeah. So this is destroyed, this is destroyed, if not already utilized. And this is destroyed. Okay. And the third time and final time an area's color is drawn, so 3 times yellow, then you cover every hex in that area that is a road or jungle hex. The second time we cover all adjacent to the coast areas, and on the third time we cover every hex in that area that is a road or a jungle hex. That means, for example, these areas here, which is a jungle or a road, this is not, and this is as well. So you see, this quickly escalated poorly and devastating the area. But of course it's not that common for 3 times in a row to draw the yellow color, but it could happen in some circumstances. So this is how the lava flows. I've shown you the example so you know exactly what you're dealing, but keep in mind that it may be gradually pouring towards most of the directions of the island. Some directions, some color-coded areas may be more devastated than the others, and this will create havoc on the island itself. The game can also be played as a solo mode that is quick and intense. A typical solo game lasts between 30 to 45 minutes. The rules are the same. There are some different changes during setup based on the step that you can find in the rulebook. The survival and winning. In the solo adventure mode, your goal is to end the game with 10 victory points. There is a lot of ground to cover, and you have to move quickly, so you have 4 action points instead of 3 action points, which is the usual. And lastly, the signal has been sent, the bunker is powered on, and the boat is repaired. This means that escaping Isla on the boat, helicopter or bunker only requires you to reach those hexes before the game is over. Or if you need to end the game in the bunker, you don't need to ensure that it's powered on because it's already powered. If you end the game with less than 10 victory points, then you have lost. This mode is challenging, and if you can find it too difficult, you can try lowering the goal to 7 goals and working gradually towards the 10th victory points essentially. So this is how you play the solo as well. There are a few rules references in the rulebook about the bloody condition, the trading, the death of a hero, friendly fire, which does not exist essentially, a dinosaur combat between them, equidistant identical prey, and multiple dinosaurs on the hex, stuff like that, of course are very easy to understand and make thematic sense as well, and you can find the details for those in the rulebook itself. So there you have it. This is how you play the game. A great game, Sauria, for players who look for a lot of packed action with this nice and interesting theme on the island. Okay, there are a lot of Jurassic theme park type of games out there, and I was really hoping that this is something different. Not in the terms of theme and what the game is trying to do, in the way that it delivers it. And let me be more specific on this. There are a lot of games out there that they try to touch or scratch the surface of the feeling of those intense movies that we really loved. Jurassic Park is one of the best movies I enjoyed. I still remember it when I was a little kid, how fascinated I was to see realistic dinosaurs, and the plot and the adventure was so nice. Now this game really delivers the tension and the suspense on such a feeling that you would expect from the movie or a similar movie, if there are others like that out, I don't know. But it does it in a way that it both makes sense thematically, it both is rich and interesting in terms of choices and mechanics in the game, and delivers a very replayable and I would say fully satisfying full course for us to enjoy and have fun with. A meal with everything. I would say it has adventure, it has exploration, it has management, it has how you prioritize and you know, schedule your movements or predict or strategize what you do on the island itself, and how you execute it and how you react on the different things the island is throwing at you, you know, enemies, dinosaurs among all, lava flowing out from in the middle of the game, moving onwards, and creating difficult areas for you to move in, etc. And maybe some of your plans are going to be derailed, but if a player is well organized, well equipped, and manages to be at the correct time, at the correct timing, at the correct space, with the correct gear, they will be able to win the game and make it out alive. So really, a very highly thematic experience that works really nice mechanically, delivers what is at least what myself is expecting from such a game, and I highly recommend it to check it out. And this is Sauria, the board game.